Hey Lex, how's it going?
Good, good. I'm glad to be back. San Antonio, how's everybody doing?
Busy, busy like always.
Oh, tell me about it. Is it the temperature gonna change now? I always like to talk about temperature. Do you notice that?
Well,
Why? I'm a forecaster or what?
maybe you were meant to be a weather girl. I don't
I
know.
don't know. Yeah, well, now that it rains, I mean, before I didn't care. I cared less about if it rained or if it didn't, whatever.
Yeah.
But now every time it rains, I say, "Whoa, good, it's raining. Good for my how you call them?
Grass
My
and
grass, so I don't have
trees.
to. Yes.
Uh,
And CPS, the first bill that I have for my water bill, that was not funny. It's
Oh, yeah,
over
not at all.
$200, and I don't have a pool. And just for
$200 for water bill?
Yeah.
That is high. You might have a leak.
No, we were running the sprinkles for like about 5 days in a row.
Really?
Yeah, you don't
Oh,
do it, okay?
yeah. No.
So what's up? We're now from hip hop to a comedian to hip hop.
Well, I can't stick to one subject. I gotta keep bouncing around and confusing the shit out of people. But yeah, last episode I went over basically the meaning of hip hop, like what really is hip hop, what defines it and separates it from some of these newer forms of music that are coming out that are getting kind of thrown into the same box, but just don't really represent it. But that was also the first official episode of the Street Report, which is the new name. And the reason why we had to do that was because the Missions podcast. First of all, missions and podcast aren't even really searchable terms, and I'm sorry, the and podcast are not searchable terms, but missions was already used by so many other podcasts in different ways. So
Yeah, different ways, by the way, because I have some friends saying, "So what what are you doing now? Are you into religion or what?" I said, "Why are you making that idea that
that's
I'm into
true
religion?"
too. That was another thing. Yeah, a lot of people assumed automatically that it was a Christian podcast.
I mean, nothing wrong with Christians.
Right, we're not anti-Christian
Right.
in any way, but our show is not religious, so we didn't want to keep confusing it. I'm a rapper. I rap on my own. Always done that, and a lot of times people call rappers or MCs street reporters. So it was just something I came up with after testing a bunch of other titles, and I said, well, let me see if Street Report has been used, and sure enough, it hadn't. And I was pretty surprised, actually. So
We call street reporters to the people in my neighborhood in Ecuador, like all those ladies that didn't have nothing to do.
yeah.
The gossip, so they were street
Oh,
reporters.
okay. So like the lady that stays
Yeah,
home all
oh
day and
my
just talks crap about
Yeah.
everybody else. Oh, yeah.
Those are the street reporters.
Okay, well let's try not to be that kind. But yeah, and now when you go into iTunes, if you search the Street Report, we pop right up. So
Yep,
that's good.
I noticed that. Much easier to find us.
Yep. So today I'm going to talk to Ben Hague, and he's a comedian. We went to see him, me and the wife, and we brought a couple friends along, and it was a blast. We had probably the most fun we had in quite some time. So next time a comedian's coming around, you might have to tag along.
Yep. Yeah, I seriously have to make a plan, a calendar or something. I think I've been overloaded with kids,
Oh,
work,
yeah.
and I can't stop it.
And school lately?
I know. Now I'm going back to school, and I have to have a calendar or at least like an alarm.
Yeah.
Like you don't overbook yourself. Like that day, I thought I had it. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm going here for 2 hours, and then I have another 2 hours to be there in downtown from Stone Oak all the way to downtown."
Yeah.
It was not happening, but I'm glad that you guys made it. I mean, somebody told me that you got home like about 4 a.m. I mean, that
It was
show
pretty late.
didn't last 2 hours.
No, we went out with our friends right after, because the show was right there at the River Center. So as soon as the show was over, we had to go and have a bunch of drinks on the Riverwalk, and we had a
See?
blast.
I'm glad I didn't go, because then I will be like, I have to go out now. So good. I'm glad that you
true.
guys had a good time. This guy is from Rhode Island, right?
Rhode Island, yeah.
Yeah. I heard good things about it, so I'm glad that he had a chance to visit San Antonio. Did he like it? Did he say something about good San Antonio? He had a whole weekend, like a whole week from Wednesday to Sunday, was
Yeah, I think it was Wednesday through Sunday, and performed twice a night, most nights. Sunday, I think, was just one performance at 8 o'clock. And, I got a few people to go out there even on nights that I wasn't there. So at least I sold a few tickets for him. Hope he appreciates that. Have you ever been to a comedy club?
Me? I haven't. Can you believe that?
No.
I just saw Broadway when I was in New York. Recently, I went to a concert that we had in the Majestic Theater. It was my first
yeah,
time.
the Majestic's nice,
Yeah,
isn't it?
very nice.
It's a beautiful theater.
Very, very nice. But then most of the time I just go to concerts. And
Yeah.
I haven't done any
You
comedy
should
show.
check out. Do you have you've watched some comedy though? I
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, seeing it live is a little bit different. First of all, you kind of vibe just like at a concert. The way you vibe off the other people at the concert, and you kind of just get into the music a little bit more. Same thing with comedy. When you're watching on TV, or especially if you're just listening to it, there's things that don't translate. Body language, and then of course the crowd work. Ben Hague did incredible crowd work. You know what they do? They pick a few people that they're going to pick at throughout the show, and they just bust their balls and make good. But he was genius at that, just finding ways to pick at the audience, and it puts you there because jokes like that, they're not necessarily reproducible. He analyzes what it is about that one person.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, so if he were to do another show in a different city, would that be the same format? Or
Right. So some of the jokes would be the same because he's got his structured jokes that he's going to use.
Right, you have to have a mainframe.
Right. But no, definitely he does a lot of crowd work, and some comedians do more, some comedians do less. But matter of fact, there's other comedians that are straight up improvisational where they don't even have any written jokes. They hit the stage and they're just making fun of people the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes that can be really funny too. So did you survive the invasion of the butterflies?
Oh my goodness, did you notice that? But that means that more animals are coming to San Antonio, snakes and all that.
Well, I don't know. No, I think it's just a migrational thing. They were flying probably down through Mexico.
Is that the first year that we get it? Because I don't think last year we got it. Right?
No, we always tend to get it, but some years a lot more than others. I remember one year it was like clogging up people's radiators and everything. This year it was pretty bad.
Do you think that's when my AC got messed up?
Maybe. No, I kind of doubt it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it was quite that bad this year, but it was still pretty bad. There was a lot of butterflies. It was like everywhere you looked,
I know.
And I just wonder how many vegans were not driving their cars so that they wouldn't kill butterflies.
I know, right? That's so mean. Stop it.
Yeah.
We'll get to my conversation with Ben Hague in just a minute, and you won't want to miss that. He's a hilarious guy. But first off, I had a conversation with comedian Corey Rodrigues. We sat down to a great lunch at Beto's, alternative Mexican food on Broadway. If you get a chance, check that place out. It's not a plug, but we just enjoyed the meal. So this right here is my conversation with comedian Corey Rodrigues.
So what do you think of San Antonio? Is it your first time being out here or what?
Nah, it's like my
Second time?
fifth time.
Fourth or fifth time?
Yeah, I've been out here a few times.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, to clubs and shit.
Yeah. So, from Milton?
Mass, yeah.
Milton,
Right
Mass?
outside of Boston.
That's where you were born?
Yeah. No. Yes. Boston.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
Born. Wasn't born in Milton.
Gotcha. Yeah, my dad was from Boston. Born in New Bedford.
Yeah, okay.
From Boston, though.
Yep. Hardcore, that's the town. That's the working town out there, man.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
he on the
no
boats
doubt.
and shit?
Nah, he was aircraft. maintenance,
okay. A lot of textile guys out there.
Yeah, he started out in the Marines, and then he did some Coast Guard, and he worked in like aircraft and stuff. But like Boston, he had that thick Boston accent.
Is that cool?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. He had that real thick Boston accent. Cuss words like, man, you dude cuss so much, like, motherfucking this and that. Like, man, it was a trip growing up with him. It was pretty different, Sure, he was a little, I guess, messed up from Vietnam and shit. So he was,
Like messed up, like drug messed up? or like?
I mean, just being in the war and all.
Yeah.
You know, and he tried to mask it all with drinks and shit.
Yep.
And you know, so a lot of Jack Daniels and been in plenty fist fights with Dad, and dude's like 300 pounds, 6'8".
Yeah.
You know, so shit. He pointed a gun at me once for giving my buddy a piece of pizza.
Yeah.
You know, it's like crazy shit.
Yeah.
He ended up taking his own life.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, he had already divorced my mom, moved back up to Boston, and shit, his brother's in the fire department, and you know, when they did the dispatch or whatever, he ended up going out there and saw him in the car and shit. Wow.
Damn. His boy found him?
Yeah, brother.
His brother found him.
His brother found him.
Shit.
Yeah. Crazy.
That is, man.
But on the comedy.
Are you close to that uncle?
Nah, not really, man. My whole dad's side of the family, we don't really. I mean, we were there for the funeral and talked a couple of times after, but
yeah,
you know.
It's always hard, man, to forge those relationships that weren't necessarily strong at one point.
Right.
You know. I always wonder that when I watch like a show. You ever watch a show and it'll be like, let's say something like, these people were estranged sisters found each other after 35 years.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm so happy they're crying on the show.
Right.
Like, I find my sister. I always wonder how that relationship really rocks, because when one gets mad at the other, like really upset for something,
right,
that you don't have the bond with each other to like get through some of those things.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say you think the new sister that you found was being flirty with your husband. Let's just say, or you think that you don't believe in her religious beliefs or her political views.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't really like this motherfucker anyways, man. I don't even really know them.
Right.
You know, you feel different about it. Like, I don't even really know them like that.
Oh, you
so,
can
like,
be a lot closer to a friend than a family member.
Yeah, exactly. You know, right? So it's always weird because if you don't have that bond, it's harder to. I think if you don't have that bond, it's hard to get through things.
Right.
So the minute there's any adversity, you're like, I don't need to deal with you. Like I feel the same way with. I say this about kids. Like I think it's a big deal. Like the fact that when you have a child, they need you for such a long period of they need you for a while. For especially like the first 10 years, like hardcore, they need you. 10, 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
So that by the time they become a teenager, I think that there's a bond there that allows you to get through what you're about to experience with them.
Right.
Because I feel like if you just got that kid and the kid just came into the world at 14, 15 and they're already like, stay out of my fucking room.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't know me. You'd be like, yo, man, I don't need this shit. Like, I don't need this. But you had 14 years to build that bond with that person. You're like, this isn't even really you. I know you're going through some shit, so I'm going to let you wild out.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you be a bad person for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'll still be able to rock with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's cool how life works like that.
And you can be bad to a point, but we do got to keep that in check. But
yeah, you do. Of course. Yeah.
But you're right, though. I mean, like that's one thing that I feel is so important for parents to build that bond, and you know, in them first years, and that's why I've been head to head with my workplace plenty times because I'm like, look, I can't be out every night until my kids are asleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I've got to be a parent too. You know, there's no reason why my wife should feel like a single parent, you know, and they don't see their dad, and so luckily, I've done that, and my kids love me, you know what I mean, and we can talk and we can hang out. Of course, my daughter, she's 14 now.
So it's getting there.
Yeah, she'll kick you out of the room. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But
And
I do believe that's real important.
And people at all levels too. People just think it's just like if you're middle class or lower middle class or upper middle class, or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's every level.
Yep.
They're having issues with being able to be there and be parents for their kids.
No doubt.
Being able to like parent them, because even at the highest levels, some of the higher levels, they're working a CEO doing whatever. He has some nannies raising their kids, so they're closer to the nannies.
Well, a comedian,
than the kids.
Comedians got kids. You're on the road all the time.
Right.
You know, I mean,
it works for me though.
Yeah.
My situation is a little different. My girl's a teacher.
Yeah.
So during the days, I don't like to do week-long gigs. You know, like this one was from Wednesday to Sunday.
Yeah.
That's not typical for me. Typically it's Friday, Saturday.
Gotcha.
Possibly a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All those other days it's daddy daycare.
That's
so
awesome.
my little dudes with me all day. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm going on auditions or something like that. I'm gone for an hour or 3 hours or 4 hours, but that's me all day with him. So I feel it's a little different because I got that bond with him.
Yeah, no doubt.
All day.
And you do a lot of local stuff too.
Yeah, I do a lot of local stuff too.
Live, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if I'm gone on Friday, Saturday, you know, it works out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because again, Monday through Thursday, we did it all day.
That's cool.
All day. So
That's cool.
I like it, man. I do like that about it.
Yeah.
It kind of just works out. You know?
Yeah,
And
nah, that's
when
great.
Eventually, in a couple of years when he's in school, and you know, those times my auditions will be scheduled around his school times.
Yeah.
And then it's like boom, boom. Then it's he's home, I'm home, and it's work out. You know.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah. So I was reading that your career got started up pretty quick. I mean, your first year in, you were headlining.
yeah,
that
no,
right?
like probably like I was headlining like 2 years in. I started
Okay.
running like some rooms and stuff though. I was doing like hosting some shows.
Yeah.
And stuff. About a little over 2 years in, I was
It's
headlining.
badass.
Yeah. I was just getting up all the time. It was just everybody's different.
Right,
You know?
right.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
It's rare, but there is a lot of other people who are doing the same similar thing. That sometimes I'm listening to other podcasts. I'm like, oh yeah, this dude got on early.
Yeah.
But it's rare. Like some people take 10 years, some take 15. Most
Definitely.
never will.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
They're
that's
just-
true.
They'll be at the host or guest spots
Right.
or feature spots. It's a lot, man. It's a lot to
There's a
stand
lot of
up.
competition right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually a good time. Like, as a person who enjoys comedy, it's a good time because there's a lot of really genius acts out there right now. You know what I mean? Like, I've been real impressed with a lot of the comedy coming out lately.
Yeah.
It seemed like it had a dry spell there for a little while.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I'm in it, so it never seemed dry.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, because there's so many people that you don't know about that are always in the woodworks, you know?
No doubt.
That's the thing. That's the sneaky thing about it. People be like, who's your favorite comics? And I start naming comics, but a lot of people don't know them
Yeah.
because they're not superstars.
Right.
But I mean, you could be just fine, man, not being a superstar.
Definitely.
And still be hilarious, just you haven't broke for whatever
It's
reason.
even better in some ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as you can earn a living and all,
Yeah.
I mean, shit, it's better than being like, you know, like some of these cats, everywhere they go is
Yeah, it's crazy.
forget
It's
about it.
mayhem.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know, look at you right now. You're sitting down eating at the restaurant. You know,
Right,
nobody's
right.
bugging you. You know what I mean? That's the way to be, really.
Yeah.
But you've been on TV and all. I mean, you know.
Yep.
So it's not like. No, I guess it's just people reach that superstar status. It seems like a long time ago, even like early '80s. If you were on TV, everybody knew you.
Yeah.
But now, I guess you got Netflix, you got Hulu.
So many
there's, like,
channels.
So many channels. Yeah.
So many channels. It's not even before there was even Netflix and what was it with Hulu. It's just there's so many
cable.
channels. Cable.
Yeah.
So you got, you look DirecTV or something. You got 500 channels, or you're on
Right.
Comcast, whatever. I mean, you got unbelievable amount of channels. So the TV is actually cable. They're actually starving for content. You know, so you got to provide them with content, man. Those channels, because all those channels just will go out.
Yeah.
You got nothing. They just
Right.
you go to a channel, you be like, damn, this is all the reruns from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any content.
Yeah,
you
no
know.
shit.
So
I was tripping out because my son, he's 13. He loves like the Me TV and all like the old TV shows.
Oh man.
You know, so I'm glad though. You know, it's just,
shit, I used to, and I know I was watching that when I was coming up. I was watching like all the I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched.
some of it was really well written. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you compare it to some of the stuff that comes on now. And, I don't know.
Some stuff you look back at too that was kind of funny too. It's like
corny.
corny, yeah, because it's like where your brain was at then. It's
Right.
different,
Right.
you know.
Max Headroom.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah, you're like, what is this? Yeah, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
Like I see they're coming back out with MacGyver. Now they're redoing a lot of shows. They're actually coming back out with MacGyver. I don't know if you remember MacGyver from back
Yeah,
then.
oh yeah, definitely.
They're retooling. It's coming out like a week or something.
Right.
It's gonna be back on TV.
Potato and a paperclip.
Yeah, you're right. Paperclip with a gum wrapper, and he was make a bomb. He's in jail with a paperclip. Yo, it's crazy.
All kinds of crazy stuff.
I used to be like, yo, I want to be like. I used to want to do MacGyver
Yeah.
stuff. I used to always have the gum, the foil, and I'd be
Right.
like, I could do something with this.
But it was pretty creative, you
It
know.
was,
Like
it was.
they had to keep coming up with those ideas.
ideas, and like my son loves Twilight Zone.
Yeah, oh, I love Twilight Zone.
Yeah, me too. But you know, and it still holds up.
Yeah,
like
Twilight Zone's still good.
Twilight,
yeah,
you know,
some of them are still creepy.
Yeah,
when you watch it, like this is still creepy.
Yeah, because they deal with a lot of like human condition type stuff.
Yep.
Like isolation. Or, you know,
I used to love Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, definitely.
Tales from the Crypt. You remember Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah, I remember Tales from the Crypt.
I used to watch all that, man.
Yeah.
Tales from the Crypt, sometimes you can see a little titties on there sometimes. You know, it's on like HBO. You see a little something, something.
Yeah, man. Well, shit. Miss Elvira?
Yeah, oh yeah, Miss Elvira. I was just YouTubing Rhonda the other day.
Yeah.
You know, Rhonda Shear followed up Elvira. She's talking about USA up all night. All night, right?
That's right, yeah.
So it used to be Elvira, and then it was Rhonda. I was just looking at some clips of Rhonda the other day, like 2 days ago. I was laughing. I was like, damn, I remember this.
I remember them.
And she used to be sexy and sexy. Yeah. That's when it was just like, that's when it was soft core, but it was perfect.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, this is good right here.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in the 80s, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They pushed the lines for what we think it would have been then, because some of that stuff we don't even see now.
Yeah.
I mean, we got the internet now, so it's wide open, but
I was thinking about, what was I telling my son about Garfield not too long ago? Remember he used to say, whoever invented Christmas trees should be drug out in the street and shot or stuff. You know? Yeah, he said that, man. You can never get away with that now. You know? Like,
I used to like Garfield.
Yeah, Garfield was funny.
Yeah. Odie, I think that was the called Odie, right? Yeah. Yeah, it just got loud over here, man.
Yeah, I know.
They came in and shit. So they get a little bit of ambiance, man.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty clinking and all that, but yeah, hey man, dude's got to eat.
It is what it is, right?
Here it is. And we're right by the airport now. Oh, that was a teaser.
Yeah, she teased the shit out of us right there.
We're like,
with my fork.
Here's the food. Both of us grabbed the fork.
Yeah, lift my fork up like, let's go. Oh, don't even. I was like, again?
There you go, guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's chimichurri sauce if you want to use oils and garlic that they put they put the fish in it.
Okay. Chimichurri. Cool, man. Yeah, this is. I've never had chimichurri sauce before.
Neither have I. Thank you.
Rice is good.
The beans are good.
Yep.
Yeah, man. All right.
You might have found a new spot.
So I guess we're doing restaurant reviews as well. This is Beato's. Beato's All Mix.
Our fish taco is on point. Pretty good.
Yeah, if timing was better and stuff, I could have brought you for some badass barbecue.
Yeah. Not Bill Miller's.
No, hell.
Oh, I'm like, that's not.
That's like the McDonald's of barbecue. It's not the real deal.
Mm. So you got 3 kids?
3 kids, yep.
Oldest is 14.
Yep.
That's the girl.
Yep.
Your son just had a birthday. How old is he?
Well, my youngest son just turned 1, and then my other son is 11.
Cool.
No, 12 now.
12?
Yeah, 12. Wow. Yep. I'm telling you, man, they grow so fast, dude. But both the older ones are doing great in school. You know, we all get along and stuff, so I'm just happy. I feel like we're doing things right, you know?
Right.
I know people who discipline their kids excessively,
Yeah.
and I know people who never discipline their kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, I try to keep it right in the middle, you know? I mean, as long as you're doing good, we're doing good, you know?
Were you a spanker?
A little bit in the beginning, like younger, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But not much. You know, I try not to lay hands on my kids. My dad did it way too much.
Yep.
And I kind of dedicated myself to, I'm not going to be that
Try
guy.
not to be that, right?
Yeah. Because it's true. When you react with anger and violence around the household, that's exactly what they embody and they become. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want my kids acting, reacting to everything with violence. You know? So I know I ended up being a real shithead.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in high school, man, a lot of trouble. You know.
Yeah.
I'm real lucky I didn't get locked up or anything. I had friends that did, and, you know, I had friends that died
Yep.
in front of me, you know, and all that, you know, so I still deal with that stuff sometimes, you know, as an older guy. I wonder if it's almost like PTSD or something, you know, because...
Yeah. But it's cool that you're able to identify it, though.
Yeah.
Some people can't. They haven't.
It's true.
That's the scary ones.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you all first-time customers, so I always like make an empanada for the table for first-time customers. So that's a banana leche one for you guys to try.
Oh, Dana.
Banana with leche quemada. It's like a caramel sauce on top and inside.
Huh. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Give you in summer checks or you want me to give you all?
No, I got it.
Okay, I'll get that right.
Thank you. Yeah, I got it. No doubt.
That's what's up, brother.
No doubt. How romantic, man, about us.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm about to break this shit out.
Just bring us to, man.
I'll take care of that when you're ready too, okay?
Thank you. It looks interesting.
I think I've ever had a dessert empanada.
Nah.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. It tastes like a banana pudding.
Huh.
That's what it tastes like.
He said, let me get the rest of that half.
Yeah. It's tasty. I want to be dipping back in it and shit.
At first he was like, I don't want to eat too much of this, I don't want to get fat. And then he was like, nah, let me get the rest of the half.
It's good.
Wow.
That's so good.
Awesome, right? That's my other favorite.
Wow. I can't blame you.
Stuff around here. I should.
It is good.
Crazy good, man.
That's different. You can tell there's a lot of like condensed milk in the sauce there.
Yeah.
It's good.
That was a good week, though, man. It was a good week
Yeah.
here.
Good. Good. Yeah, Bill was saying it was kind of hard a couple of the nights.
It was light, but yeah, I've been here before, man, a bunch of times, so it's like, you know,
You kind of knew what to expect.
yeah, it could be fun.
It's not a stadium filler, but it's
You guys picking up all your trash too.
it's a habit.
All customers are like that.
It's a habit.
You guys are married, aren't you?
No,
Oh,
not at
you're
all.
not? Wow. You guys,
What are you
some
talking
married
about?
guys that do that
Come
'cause
on,
they
man.
bitch
Did
about
we
it all
get
the
that
time.
vibe off? We
Wow.
Some people are married, like it's an offensive thing.
It was offensive.
Hey, I understand. I'm happily divorced for 12 years now, so I'm really offended by that too. People say,
No, we're not even together.
Not at all. Not at all.
I know, I didn't mean you guys.
Oh,
I meant
that's
women because a woman that shows you how to pick up. No, that's not what I meant.
No.
No, you didn't have that vibe. You didn't have that vibe.
Nah, I used to work in restaurants. That's where I picked
Oh,
it
okay.
up from.
I'm into women, sir.
Now, once you bust enough tables, you have a respect for that. you know?
Listen, we weren't sure if you thought we were together because you brought the empanada on the same plate.
Yeah.
Oh, I put an extra plate underneath it. Gosh, I didn't think of
It all came together.
I just saw the ring on the thing. Honestly, I thought you guys were married to women.
okay,
Out of town on a business trip because you said you were for a business meeting. Did not think you were on a date, sir. I promise you. It's like, this woman, we are never coming back.
Never know nowadays.
Nah, it just seemed like that though, man. It definitely just seemed like she was like, I'm like, man. Thank you.
All right, so Ben Hague, how you doing, man? How you enjoying the city, or?
I am. It's been a it's been a fun trip.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do here in San Antonio. We're right on the River Walk. For those of you that are listening right now, you can picture us. We're at the beautiful Valencia Hotel. Yeah, the River Walk's crazy, man. The first night I was here, I was baffled at the fact that I don't know how much time you spend down here, but How many people must fall in that damn river walk?
It does
There's
happen,
no
man.
wall. It's just walking and just people playing Pokemon just falling into the river.
And on top of that, half of them are drunk. So
Yeah, it's like there's literally bars 3 feet from a canal with no
Handrail.
no handrail, no nothing.
Yeah.
And then somebody told me there's a $500 fine if you fall in.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that I hadn't heard.
Yeah, no matter what, whether you're pushed, whether you fall, whether you jump on a dare, it's a $500 fine. If you end up in the water, it's $500.
Wow.
Which is smart when you think about it, because people would just be betting
Falling
their
left
drunken
and right.
friends
Yeah,
all the time
sure.
to just jump in. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to scare you, but they have found bodies in the river.
I wouldn't surprise me with the sketchiness when you get around out of the nice areas around here. It's there's some sketchiness going around.
Yeah. So you were born and from Rhode Island?
I'm born and raised in Rhode Island. Yep, Providence, Rhode Island. Yep. Living in New York City now.
How much smaller is Rhode Island, the state, than San Antonio, the city?
How many people are in San Antonio?
Man, it's like 9 million, I think.
Wow. Yeah, there's 1 million in the entire state of Rhode Island.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is something else.
And it's 45 minutes to drive through the entire state.
wow. One
Yep.
side or the other, huh?
Yeah, so somebody told me recently that the northern tip of Texas is actually closer to Canada than it is to Brownsville, Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm learning a lot, man. I'm surprising you. I told my my girlfriend's cousin, who bless her little heart,
Uh-huh.
is your stereotypical 2016 college blonde. That's just like, I just want to Instagram my entire life.
Right.
And I told her, I was telling her about shows I had, and I was in Massachusetts, and I was in Maine and New Hampshire, and you can do that all in like a weekend.
Yeah.
And she couldn't wrap her head around it because she's born and raised in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
That you can drive to like 10 states in, like an hour.
Oh, yeah. We put
She couldn't-
miles
yeah.
on cars in Texas.
Oh,
man.
I can imagine.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, miles on trucks.
Well,
Miles
yeah.
on trucks. Get it straight.
Not me, man. Not
There's
me.
no cough button, and I'm getting allergies from this damn town, so I'm gonna attempt to not cough into the mic as
No
little
worries,
as possible.
man.
Yeah.
I'll be editing. So, so you live in New York? As
Live
of
in New
now?
York City. Yeah, I've been in New York for about almost 5 years now. Thinking about making the move to LA. You got to be kind of bi-coastal in this business anyway.
I
you know?
imagine.
Yeah, I've been doing the bi thing for 10 years, so I might as well add the coastal, right, ladies and fellas?
Check them out. What initially got you into comedy?
I like the hours. I like a job where you can work, 4 hours a week.
That sounds good to me. Man.
No, I was always kind of a class clown. The way I always look at it is there are two types of comics, for the most part, I feel, or maybe three. There's the class clown type, kind of the, Chris Farley goofball type. There's the kind of the alt guys that are very introverted, and if you go out to a party, they're kind of sitting in a corner, but yet they can take any situation and just write it into a genius bit.
Right.
And then there are the comics that are kind of, been through a lot of shit, and this is their way to kind of get it out and express it. The dark type guys, yeah. I feel I'm a little of each, but maybe more the class clown type, or at least that's the reason I got into comedy. I'm not the awkward guy at a party. I mean, I know I have a lot of friends that are comics that you wonder, have you ever talked to a girl before? Just that, but these guys are geniuses. They're just geniuses. Some of the smartest guys I know.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I never had that problem. I was always never. The stage fright part of it never bothered me.
Really?
You know what I mean? So when you first start comedy, you got to first get over being stage fright. Then you
Right.
got to kind of learn how to write jokes. You got to find your voice. There's a lot of moving parts that go into it.
Yeah.
And that's why it takes so long before you can become comfortable up there. I mean, when I first started, it took me a while just to find out what kind of comic I was on stage and learn how to really properly write jokes, which takes years for anybody. I don't care how good you are. But I at least I didn't suffer from stage fright.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
I felt comfortable on stage from the beginning,
No doubt.
which was a big hurdle because a lot of comics, that's half of it, man. That's 80% of it is just not being afraid to get up there and at least look comfortable.
Well, and that
So-
probably comes from the class clown aspect where.
The class clown aspect, I went to acting school in New York City before I started doing stand-up, which was more like theatrically trained stuff, but at least it got me used to going on stage.
Yeah.
And then I actually wanted to do broadcast journalism. I'm a big sports fan, so I always wanted to do something that involved holding a microphone.
Right.
I don't know if that's a phallic thing or something, but I always wanted to do something that I'd be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And I was a big sports fan growing up. And I was, like I said, always the class clown, and it basically just happened on kind of a dare, kind of a bunch of buddies being like, dude, you gotta try stand-up, go for it. My buddy Eddie, my buddy Mark, kind of pushed me to try an open mic, and I like fell in love with it the first time.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's the only job where you can do it once at an open mic for like in front of 4 people, and then you can call your parents and be like, I'm a comedian, Like I remember that night, like trying to get laid. I left like an open mic. There was like 10 people. Maybe I got 1 laugh, and I was going around. I went out that night to like celebrate.
Right.
September 30th, 2003.
Wow.
Yeah, 2003. Holy shit, September 30th. And I remember going out that night on Sunset Boulevard, because I did it at the Laugh Factory. And people were like, oh, what do you do here? And I'm like, I'm a stand-up comic. I'd been on stage 4 minutes in my life. I was like, I'm a comedian.
So you opened there?
Yeah, that was the first place I ever went on stage. They did a really good open mic.
Yeah.
Jamie Masada, the world-famous owner of that place, would do it. I believe it was every Wednesday. It was either Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And you had to wait outside at like noon.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, it was like 90 degrees. And you wait out at noon, and they come out at like 5 p.m. and take the name of like the first 10 people.
Wow.
So a lot of times, even if there were 20 comics in line, you'd wait because people would have an audition to go to, or people just would be like, fuck this, it's too hot.
Right.
Are we allowed to swear? It's a podcast,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I'll try to keep it classy. But
No.
And I didn't know that's how it worked. So I remember the first time I showed up at like 4 p.m. and I was all jacked up. I mean, I'd been pacing around all day, memorizing my little 5-minute shtick, and I got there at like 4 p.m. and there was already a line of comics, and I didn't know that not everybody got on. So the first time I actually didn't get on.
Oh man.
And I think I had told everybody like ahead of time that I was going to do it that night. And probably after they called me, I may have even said, yeah, I went on. It went great. Like, just because I was embarrassed to be like, nah, I showed up late.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I'm a comic,
Right,
Most
right.
comics don't want to work a 9 to 5 where you have to show up on time.
No doubt.
I am very punctual, though, and I obviously, you have to be to get ahead in this business. But,
Sure.
but yeah, I wanted a job where I could sleep late. And I remember telling everybody I was going to do stand-up, and I didn't get on the first night. So then I think I had to wait a couple weeks because I think I went away. I had a wedding, a friend's wedding or something. I think I had to wait a couple more weeks. And I remember, like, that's all I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And then the day finally came. I got there nice and early, and I think I got there even an hour before, the 12 o'clock check-in. And I waited, and I had some good friends that supported me and drove up from Orange County.
Oh, nice.
Which is like an hour. And, I ran around on stage like an idiot, screaming into a microphone, not knowing how to hold it properly.
Right.
And I was a comic. That was it.
But hey, you learn from experience.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you got to be comfortable with bombing because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's
Last night.
Last night. Oh no.
No, I'm at the point now where, I'm 12 years in. So if the crowd's decent and they want to be there and have a good time, then I'm gonna do very well. Very well. But last night was a lot of work. San Antonio has been a lot of work this week.
Really?
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, and it's not anyone's fault. The shows have been good, but they've been light. They haven't been. The attendance has been down, and the owner gave me a heads up ahead of time. He said, "Look, it's the week after Labor Day. I don't know when this is gonna air, but technically right now it's September 10th.
Right.
It's a week after Labor. Put it this way, man. If I wasn't a comic, I wouldn't want to go to a comedy show this weekend. I went hard last week, like I'm sure everybody did. A lot of travel. It's still hot out. I guess they don't have many conventions in September, you mentioned. But
yeah, not right now, but
so it's been a little light attended, but I sold 10 T-shirts after the 8 o'clock show last night.
Well, that's good.
And for those that are not in the comedy business, that is going platinum.
Yeah.
If you sell 10 of anything after a show, that is going platinum.
No doubt.
The 8 o'clock show was wonderful. The late show was a wake-up call because I've been on such a good run. I had a great run out in California a few weeks ago. I've done some college shows that have been great lately. My shows in Manhattan have been great. Whatever I've done on the road has been great for about a month straight, and then the comedy gods kick you right in the ass again. And
Well-
go, well, this is welcome back to reality. Here's 14 miserable people.
Got to keep
That
it
are-
in check, you know.
Yeah. I went off on a lady, and not really went off on her, but it was the first time I was like, there was a woman in the front row that, dear God, I hope this woman finds what is missing in her life,
Right.
because I've never seen a more miserable human being
Oh,
ever,
man.
let alone someone who sits at a comedy show.
Yeah.
Who gets in? Because let me tell you something. I did not make this woman miserable, because
Right.
she was miserable when I walked on stage. So there's no way that this woman. What goes through your head if you're already miserable going to a comedy show?
Right. Why are you
Like,
there?
you gotta literally go online. You have to purchase the ticket.
Yeah.
You have to go where this particular club is. It's in the mall, so you have to go up 3 escalators. You have to find parking. It's hot. Then you come and you sit in the front row and just have a stank face
Right.
for the entire hour. So it was. I was attempting to get her to loosen up. I had her for a minute, and then I was just like, I can't win with this.
Do you find it hard to look past those people?
For me, thankfully, it doesn't happen because I'm not super confrontational on stage. I kind of go out and I do a lot of crowd work. I enjoy engaging the crowd.
Yeah.
But there are New York comics kind of have a rep of sometimes being kind of going after the crowd. I don't really go after them. I kind of engage them and I tease them a little bit. And I'll I mean, if I have to, I'll go back and forth with them. But I mostly do a little bit of kind of friendly crowd work and
Yeah.
then my act. So I'm not very confrontational to begin with. But
Yeah. We shut down the hecklers.
yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
that happens, yeah. But I don't know. I also don't really encourage hecklers. My
Right.
act is I kind of go up there and do my thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not somebody that's super confrontational on stage.
Right.
So I don't really bring the hecklers out. But this woman, I wanted to beat over the head with a frying pan. I think I sat down on the stool and I asked her, I'm like, what is going on in your life you're so fucking miserable? Why are you so miserable?
Could you grin?
And then I
at
asked her what
least?
she did, and she said she worked at a hospital, and I'm like, what? If you walked into my room and I was sick, I would hope you were just reading me my last rites, because if your face
Yeah.
is what's attempting to get me over the hump and cure me, I would immediately want to be shot.
Just cold, huh?
That was brutal, dude.
Maybe it was on a suggestion from a friend. They're like, "Look, you're miserable." Bitch.
Well,
Will
I
you
always,
please
I
go to a
know, I
comedy
even
show?"
said this. I go, do you have like a friend taping you in the corner? And this is going to be like a YouTube thing, like watch woman,
Maybe.
sit in the front with a, shitty look on her face the whole time and try
Yeah.
to break this comic's wall down.
So it's become a real problem too. People taking their phones to these comedy shows and taping comics. and
Yeah,
putting
I
their
tell them not to.
material.
I just nicely
Yeah.
tell them not to.
Yeah.
I'm not like a jerk about it.
Right.
Because for a guy like me, I'm not a big name. I mean, I've been on national TV and stuff, but I'm not a big name. So when people see my name at comedy clubs, they Google me.
Yeah.
Or they'll go watch me on YouTube, which is understandable. You
Right.
don't just show up to a nightclub that's playing music, if you want to go see a band and hope that,
Yeah, for sure.
you want to see what they do.
5-minute clip or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
So with me, people will go watch what I have online.
Yeah.
And if they like it, then they'll come to a show.
Yeah.
And, I have, from whatever I have online now, if it's 20 minutes worth of stuff, if you come see me do an hour,
Right.
you're going to see 50 minutes of stuff you've never seen before.
No
I might
doubt.
do 10 minutes of the stuff that I have online, if that.
The still at home bit. That's a great one.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so I like some of those jokes I barely even do anymore. If I
Yeah.
do any of them, I don't even really remember. But I don't want people doing what I'm doing now, because right now I'm on the road. So if somebody tapes me in San Antonio and then next week I'm in New Jersey, and I don't want them to already hear everything.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
no
as
doubt.
comics, that's kind of all we have. All we have is our act. So
You want to be able
unless
to
you're
catch 'em by
releasing,
surprise.
and it even happens with the bigger guys that
Yeah.
you do know. If you go to see Bill Burr or you go to see Louis C.K., these guys are all working on a new hour, as I am, as all comics are.
Yeah.
So you don't want that stuff getting released, and then they go to you go see him, and then you've seen all the everybody in the audience has already seen your shit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It's a fickle business because it's kind of our word against theirs. You can't. There's no comedy police where you can
Right.
go get that chick over there that's recording our shit, And then people think they're helping because they're gonna. I don't mind if people share it with their friends and stuff, but as
Right.
long as it stays offline, you
Yeah,
gotta just be
for sure.
selective of what you put on there.
And like I say, well, a couple minutes is one thing, but you're recording like the entire bit and putting it out there. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know what's going on. It's got to be the time of year.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in an Alfred Hitchcock movie last night. There's butterflies everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Is that tell me about that, because I was freaking out, man.
Well, this year's invasion has been like
that's when you know
else.
you've lived in New York City too long. When you see lovely butterflies and you're like, I'm freaking out, man. What is going on right now, dude? It looks like the trees. It looks like leaves just coming off the trees, and it's butterflies.
Yeah, it's crazy. Right now, there's like millions of them. And I remember a few years ago, it was so bad that it was clogging up people's radiators and shit on the cars.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, shows how less of a man I am. I was talking to my dad today on the phone, like just an hour ago.
Yeah.
And my dad got stung by a wasp while we were on the phone and didn't even care. He's like, man, my thumb is like swelling up really bad.
Right.
I'm like, well, why don't you hang up? He's like, nah, let's catch up. And I saw butterflies on the golf course yesterday, and I was like freaking out. I'm Googling it, and I'm like, can you die from butterfly attacks? So yeah, so the apple does fall far from the tree. I don't have a manly bone in my body.
In this sense.
I'm into screenwriting now, so I've made a couple of my own films.
Okay.
I did a film called Getting Home that I wrote. It was a short. If there's any filmmakers listening to this, make your own stuff. It was the greatest experience of my entire career, of anything I've done.
Okay.
So I'd always dabbled into screenwriting, and I wanted to write a feature, but features, let's be honest, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough to write a 2-hour movie.
Oh, no doubt.
It takes years, and it's just difficult. Not only is it difficult to write it, but then when you finish it, if it's great, hopefully you can sell it, but once you sell it, you have zero. You're not attached to that.
Yeah.
You're not attached to it anymore.
Right. It's just
Right?
not even
Yeah, if you're
yours.
Joe Schmo and you write this great thing and you sell it, you're not going to be able to play any of the parts. You're going to have zero say in what they do with it.
Right.
So I wanted to write something like at acting, so I decided to write a short. So it started off like I was going to write like a 10-minute short, and then it just grew and it grew into like a 30-minute short, which at 30 minutes isn't even really a short anymore.
Short at that point.
And we needed some real money behind it. At first I was like, I'll just pay for this myself, a couple grand, we'll do a little 10-minute thing, I'll have some buddies film it.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be, it was a war film, so it wasn't a comedy. And I was able to do the Kickstarter and then get some private donations, and it went from this little thing I wrote in my apartment in New York City during a snowy winter. I wrote it in like a few weeks.
Yeah.
To we literally had helicopters. We had we had Black Hawk helicopters. We had extras. We had special effects. We had I got this great director, Charles Pass, to direct it. The people involved were amazing, from the sound people. I mean, it was like the real thing. I had literally, when I wrote it, was expecting just one friend to just hold a video camera.
Yeah.
And we were going to like Blair Witch it. And it was just going to be for just for everybody to get some experience. You know what I mean? Me get more experience writing and acting, and some friends to experiment that wanted to get into the makeup side of things, and other friends that were going to experiment with sound editing. And then it turned out to like become this big project where we actually got like a crew.
Wow.
I mean, we had like 20, 30 people on set every day for this little tiny short that basically followed around two actors.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. It was the coolest experience of my life. We ended up getting into a couple film fests. We premiered at the Action on Film Fest out in Los Angeles, which was cool. So I flew out for that. We did a big premiere back in my home state in Rhode Island, where we had 300 people show up, and we did a black tie gala event. We were able to raise money for wounded warriors.
Cool.
So it was good, man. It was an awesome experience, and I just wrote another one that was way less involved. It was just something really quick that we shot over a weekend just outside of Philadelphia, but with some talented. My buddy Mark Riccadonna directed it. He's a comedian. He's very funny.
Nice.
And this one was kind of a drama again, and it had some action fight scenes and stuff.
Oh,
and
cool.
It was cool. So I'm doing stuff outside of comedy. Everybody's like, how come you don't write any comedies?
Yeah.
And I've written, I've gotten hired to punch up stuff, and I've written on some web series and stuff. But when I sit down myself, I think it's because I do comedy full time for a job that I want to deviate from writing comedy.
So it
when
doesn't
I
feel
want to
like
do
work.
film, yeah.
Right,
So
right.
I kind of gravitate towards stuff like that.
Is that available for people to view? Or?
Yeah, Getting Home is going to be online. We had it on DVDs and stuff. We're going to put it online very soon, hopefully by October or something like that.
Yeah.
So I believe it's gettinghomethemovie.com. It might be gettinghomethefilm.com. I'll get you a checkup so you can follow up.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then the one we just shot is called By Any Means, and that's being edited as we speak, and we're going to try to go the film festival route with that. And we have a web series online called I'll Call You, and that's comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, I helped write that. It was produced by Damon Borelli and Nick Youssef, and our director Melissa was wonderful. She's done some things. We filmed that in Pittsburgh.
Nick
And
Youssef is
my
hilarious.
yeah, and my co-star is Brian Bowden, who's a buddy of mine back home in Rhode Island, who is a man. If he moved to Hollywood, he would probably be famous in about 5 days.
Yeah.
He's just a big jovial guy and a big personality, and he steals all the scenes. I play kind of the straight guy. He's kind of the quirky guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of a little bit of Chris Farley meets Kramer meets
Right.
Who he is in real life and
So,
in his
a
onstage
lot of
persona.
energy.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really funny. So that's called I'll Call You. So, and that's, I want to say I'llCallYouTV.com, I believe, is the
Okay.
website for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
man,
an
I'll put
8-part web
links on
series.
Good deal. 8 parts.
Yeah.
And how long?
Eight shorts. 8 shorts.
Yeah.
I want to say it's either 8 5-minute episodes or 5 8-minute episodes. I don't know, man. It's been online for like 8 months, so I forget.
That's
I've
cool.
moved on to the next project, but that one's good. Yeah. So we're still shopping that around, and
Yeah.
who knows.
Awesome. California's still the place to be, huh? Pretty much.
Yeah. New York's the place to be for comedy. New York is hands down the place to be for stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
It's if you want to grow potatoes, go to Idaho. You want to
Right.
do stand-up, you gotta go through New York City. That's where, shows like Saturday Night Live are casting, and that's pretty much where all the guys getting their half-hour specials on Comedy Central are. But you move to LA when you get a little heat on you, and you want to try to take it to TV, or you get development deals or stuff like that. I mean, like I said, bi-coastal is kind of the way to go.
Right.
But to really become a better comedian, New York is the way.
Yeah.
And the Northeast in general. I mean, I probably make 70 to 80, probably 70% of my money in the Northeast, just because there's so many clubs, there's so many colleges, there's so many places you can do one-nighters.
Maybe more supportive crowds than around here.
No, this is just a slow week. I mean, my favorite week of the entire year was in Houston, so it's not
Oh,
Texas.
really?
Yeah, and it was a great week. I was down there during the Houston Rodeo,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
Did you get to
Have you ever
check
been to the
that
Houston
out?
Rodeo?
Well, not the Houston rodeo, but
been to a rodeo,
we've
though?
got rodeos all the
Dude,
time.
all right,
yeah.
so I'm a city boy. The rodeo, holy shit, I've never
Blows you
seen anything
away.
like it. First off, they did this thing called mutton busting. Do you know what mutton busting is? All right, so while they're getting like the rodeo area ready,
Uh-huh.
they have these little things that go on in between to keep
Right.
people active, where there's the clowns running around or whatever.
the
And they did this
kids,
thing
yeah.
called mutton busting, where they get these little kids in like 2nd grade. They're like
Yeah, yeah.
8-year-olds. They put hockey helmets on them,
Right.
and then they strap them to a sheep, and they let they like whip the sheep. The sheep goes running, and it's bucking,
Right,
right?
with his
And the
little
little
kid on
kid
his
tries
back.
to stay on, and then people gamble on this, and no one gets arrested.
Yes, it's something
Like,
else.
people should be thrown in jail. There's no child protective service laws. Like, no one gets arrested. And
Yeah.
these little kids, they show them, this is Jacob, and Jacob's from Spring, Texas, and he wants to be a baseball player when he
Right.
grows up. And he's smiling, and he gives his thumbs up, and then they strap the hockey helmet on him, which is, I'm assuming, so you can't see the kid screaming to death. And then they show him as soon as he gets fly off, and tears are streaming down his face, and they pick him up by his bootstraps.
No doubt.
Yeah.
He's like bleeding.
Yeah. I had a blast in Houston, though, man. I dove into
Yeah.
the culture. I bought a cowboy hat. I bought one of those big Borat American flag Texas
Oh, my
shirts.
goodness.
I bought a pair of Wranglers, which
Big belt buckle.
dude, I had a belt buckle. It was ridiculous.
Like a hook
yeah.
cap.
It was ridiculous. So I didn't know. I went to that famous boot chain. What is it? Scavengers? Scavengers or Cavenders?
Yeah. He said
Scavengers. It was like a scavenger hunt trying to figure out what the fuck to wear.
That's
So
funny.
I had I didn't know. Those 2 little holes on the top of your boots.
Yeah.
So if you wear cowboy boots up knee or just below your knee, I guess they go about that high, or past your shin. On the top, there's 2 little holes,
Right.
which
Pull 'em
are
up.
I find out now are to pull them up.
Yeah.
You put your fingers and then you pull your damn boots up, and I had no idea. So I'm at Cavender's, and the guy was like a super Texan, and he was all right, boy, I want you to pull on these Wranglers right here and this. He's like, no, you don't tuck your Wranglers into your boots, right? I was tucking them in. I didn't
Right.
know. He's like, that's how the lassies wear them, or so,
The
whatever the hell
lassies.
he was saying. He may have said something. I'm assuming
Uh-huh.
probably more racist and homophobic, but So I get the boots on, and I go, how am I supposed to get the spurs in these holes? The holes for your fingers, I thought that's where you put the spurs.
Wait a minute, you're kidding, right?
Yeah, no, I had no idea, dude. I don't know. I wear Nikes. I live in New York City. And he looks at me just absolutely disgusted, and he goes, son, because I go, how do you put the spurs up there? And he goes, son, if the spurs are up that high, that bull already done got you in the ass. I was like, all right. I was like, maybe I shouldn't spend. By the way, boots are like $300.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
I went in expecting to get a boot and a hat for like $40.
Yeah.
Yeah, boots. My boots were, I think, a deuce, and the hat was fucking $80.
Yeah, it's
$80
insane.
for a cowboy hat, and then you bring it to a guy and he steams it. It's like the real deal.
Yeah.
The funniest part was, I wore it as a comedian. I wore all that stuff kind of like as a joke. I thought it would be fun. Like I was like, yeah, I'm going to the Houston rodeo. Let me dress like an asshole, and it'll be funny.
Yeah.
So I get the Texas shirt,
Uh-huh.
the full long sleeve Texas shirt. It looks like the flag. The
Right.
whole shirt looks like the flag, the big star on it. I get the hat, the cowboy hat. I get a kerchief with a big like emblem holding the kerchief together.
Just a good old boy.
Yeah, a good old boy. I get the boots.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's uncle gives me this big belt buckle,
Uh-huh.
this huge ass belt buckle.
Gotta have
I get the
the
belt,
buckle, man.
and then I wore it, and I'm like, man, people are gonna be staring at me. People are gonna want to take pictures with me. We show up to the rodeo, not one person batted an eye.
Nah, not even.
They're like, yeah, all right, this guy looks normal. Thank you.
Everybody else
yeah.
is dressed
the
in the
day
same
before I
costume.
showed up with New York, I'm wearing skinny jeans, right?
Yeah.
I'm wearing all like Vans,
Oh,
and
man.
people were looking at me like I had 3 heads. I'm like, what the fuck? Where am I right now?
It's crazy, man.
So
Yeah,
crazy.
and here I am, the Texan, and I've never ever bought any of that
Yeah,
shit.
really, yeah, it's great. You're dressed like a normal guy. Like,
Yeah, Yes, the lady at the bar was getting a kick out of my name, Jethro. It doesn't get much more Texas than that, does it?
oh my, I know, right? Yeah, that's intense, man.
Yeah.
That's funny. You don't look like a Jethro at all.
No,
You
that's
know,
why I
because
go by
you're
Jeff.
white and you're wearing a polo shirt. You don't seem like a Jethro at all.
No doubt.
Don't you love the magic of editing? People back home won't even know that we stopped to get beers. I love it.
It's
But we are
awesome.
doing Texas, man. I've had Shinerbach before. I've spent time in Texas.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize it was a Texas beer at the time, but my girlfriend's from Austin, so she's kind of turned me onto it, and it's good.
Yeah.
Dude, in New York, they have like bars up there that show like all the Longhorn games and
Right.
all the Cowboy games and stuff like that, and they have Shiner, and the places are just packed.
Really?
I've never met people that are more proud, which people know this. Texans are more proud than anything.
Yeah,
They put like Texas above America for the most part.
Yeah, well, secede.
Yeah, I know, right? I actually saw the funniest shirt at the Alamo, which, by the way, the Alamo is much history, and I love all the history stuff, and when I travel, I always try to kind of do stuff like that, whether
Yeah.
it's museums or whatever. I had no idea the Alamo was right next to a mall.
Yeah.
I literally thought it was like in the middle of the desert. I mean, I know obviously when the Alamo happened it was.
Right.
But I mean, if you're leaving H&M in the Jamba Juice, you could throw a baseball and hit the walls of the Alamo.
Yeah, so you've toured it.
Yeah, we went yesterday, yeah.
Now,
I think that's why some of the people at the show last night were so angry.
maybe.
Like, I have a tan,
Well, you
so
didn't
I'm
pee
like,
on it, did
no,
you?
I didn't pee on it or anything. I'm like, I'm tan, and maybe I don't know. I have like a little mustache right now.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought I was one of the guys that stormed the walls of March 6th, 1836. I'm like, it wasn't me. All right, fucking lighten up.
They absorbed the history.
Yeah.
I see. Was it the biggest disappointment ever after seeing Pee-wee's Big Adventure? It was so much cooler.
I would never say the Alamo was a disappointment. I would never phrase it like that. But it wasn't what I expected. I mean, it was free admission, which is wonderful. You know, we
Yeah.
made a little donation. They have the things around, and it was really cool seeing the uniforms and the swords and some of the Davy Crockett stuff and
Yeah.
and seeing all that. But I had no idea that it was like right there. I thought I don't know what I was expecting.
Right.
I mean, it's Texas. You guys go as kids, and right? You go.
Right.
I've been
Oh,
10
yeah.
times
Yeah,
on
no
field
doubt.
trips and everything, so I didn't know what to expect.
Well, people picture Texas in their heads, and it's
I literally
always
thought we were
different.
gonna be driving like down like this long dirt road, and it would be like
Tumbleweeds.
like a Breaking Bad type thing, and the music would come on, and
Yeah.
and there would be the Alamo, but it was across the street from a Jamba Juice.
No doubt, and not even far from the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we walked.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No,
I was not expecting that at all. Like, we're right here in the heart of downtown, the Riverwalk, and we just walked over. It's 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I'm glad we did it. And then we went across the street to that bar, that really old bar. I forget the name of it, but it was pretty cool. Had like an old saloon feel to it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They don't, and I'm realizing now it's for security reasons, because I asked my girlfriend, I go, look, the only thing I really want to check off the Texas list, because I've been to Texas a bunch, I want to go to a bar, like a saloon, where you walk through the saloon doors.
Swinging doors.
Yeah, the swinging doors. And she goes, they can't do that. And I'm like, why? She's like, well, A, for security reasons. It's not the 1500s. Like, the bars need to close.
You know?
You can't just have a swinging doors as your only security. I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Right.
But there's got to be a bar that has that somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not as the front door, but somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't
There's got to be. I can't think of one though.
I told you, man, I like doing that. Like, I like really diving into the culture.
Yeah.
Like, when I
wherever
came
you
to
go.
Texas, first thing I did, bought a hat, bought boots.
Yeah.
You know, when I go out in California, I try to go surfing.
Yeah.
When I go to Florida, I do like a ton of meth. I mean, it's just wherever I am, I really try to dive into the culture.
Get
you
into
know,
it,
I
yeah.
had a tour in West Virginia. I just beat the shit out of my girlfriend the whole time. It was wonderful.
He's kidding. No.
No, I'm not. I
No,
really
okay.
gave her a couple of shiners. I'm kidding. So here's an interesting story, because you don't have anything prepared. My girlfriend's grandfather. Have you ever heard of the prize, the beer called Grand Prize beer?
Yeah, actually.
You've heard of that?
Yeah. No
So
doubt.
my girlfriend's great grandfather started that company.
Really?
He went out he won a competition in like Amsterdam or Belgium, maybe somewhere out there, one of those countries, and he brewed his own beer, and he entered it in one of these competitions, and there was like, hundreds of beers from all over Europe.
Yeah.
And he won it. He won first prize. He won the grand prize. So Howard Hughes found out about this and hired him to come to Texas, and he brought him over to Texas, and he started this big beer company, and they named it Grand Prize Beer.
Yep.
And that's why her whole family is now in Texas and is settled in Texas, and
Really?
she's a Texan, and her parents are Texans, and her grandparents are Texans. Her great-grandfather started Grand Prize Beer, and at one point it was the biggest selling beer in all of Texas,
That's awesome.
which Texas is enormous.
Yeah.
And the Texans like to drink, for
Well-
years, and I think it went through Prohibition, and then it kind of phased out or whatever, but they still own the recipe and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
kind of a cool story, yeah.
Well, for the longest time, we didn't have much good beer to choose from here, but it seemed like over the last couple of years, there's been like this
Yeah.
explosion
It's
of
funny that you've heard of it,
microbreweries.
because they didn't. Did they ever have it as when you were in high school? I honestly don't know when they stopped making it. But
No, but I remember seeing a picture of it. I think
Yeah,
my
there's
buddy had
signs,
an
yeah.
old poster,
Yeah.
or like one of them tin posters.
one of the tin ones.
Yeah,
so it was
yeah.
so cool. The first time I went to Houston, we went out to a barbecue place, to an authentic barbecue place. Ooh, I might get barbecue today.
Yeah, you gotta
Dude, so my girlfriend is obsessed with Tex-Mex, which is really good. I love
Yeah,
Mexican
for sure.
food, and I lived in Cali for a while. I went to college in Florida. So Mexican food I do love.
No doubt.
But I've had it 6 meals in a row.
Oh, okay. It's time to change it up.
And my girlfriend could eat it every meal, but
Yeah.
six meals in a row.
Have you had any good barbecue since you've been here yet, or?
Not in San Antonio, but I've had amazing barbecue in Dallas, amazing
Yeah.
barbecue in Houston. I go to Austin on Monday. I think we're going to do steaks. We're going to get some
Nice.
big-ass steaks.
Oh, so you're in Austin Monday? You doing a
Yeah,
show
no
there?
gig. I'm flying out of Austin.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go there and just hang for a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason it's cheaper to fly in and out of Austin a lot
Yeah,
of times.
it is.
Yeah,
and
well,
and I got some friends and stuff down there, so we figured we'd do that.
Cool.
So it'll be cool. Hang out
Austin's a cool city.
there. Austin's a great city.
Yeah.
Our mutual friend Justin, actually.
Yeah.
His roommate Matt lives there. Or his old
Oh,
roommate
Matt lives there?
Matt
Oh,
Dowd,
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Matt, give you a shout out, Matt.
Yeah, go
shout out
Matt.
to Matt Dowd, who almost died.
And Justin.
Yeah. And Justin, yeah. Our buddy Matt. Yeah, man, Matt almost died.
Golly.
In his 30s, he had a heart condition.
Oh, man.
And he just collapsed, and he had like a 1% chance to live. We're getting really dark on the podcast
Shit,
now.
I didn't hear that.
And they brought him through it. And in typical fashion of me and Justin, as soon as he I mean, it was bad. It was
Yeah.
to the point where me and Justin were like on the phone talking to each other, like pretty bummed out. Like, Matt's not going to pull through.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that
he got
sucks.
airlifted to a hospital, all this stuff. And in typical guys being guys, the minute he pulled through and came out of consciousness, he was in a coma and everything, came out of consciousness, we immediately started shitting on him. What a pussy. Whose heart gives out walking their dog? You fucking loser. Get your shit together. It's typical with your dumb red hair that you would die in the middle of, you passed out in a 7-Eleven, you loser.
Yeah.
So no, it was an incredible story the way he pulled through, but in typical guy fashion, as soon as we were like, I think we even called Justin. I called Justin. I'm like, is Matt like really good right now? Like we can go back to like shitting on him and making fun of him.
Bust his balls.
And he's like, yeah, I think so, man. I think he's officially over the hump of, regressing back in or falling back into a coma. And the second that happened, we instantly just started trashing him on his Facebook wall.
Yeah.
And shitting on him.
It's scary though when you see a close
Yeah.
friend go through something like that. It starts to
Oh,
like,
it was
hit
scary,
you,
man, because
you
he's
know,
our age.
Yeah,
He's our age, so we're like, Jesus, God. Yeah.
And it's like I'm realizing how old.
So
I'm
make sure
getting.
you let your friends know that you love them.
Yeah.
All our listeners out there.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. And take care of yourself. Yeah, eat some fucking good food. You
Yeah.
know?
That's probably what killed him.
It's gotta
Texas
be.
killed my friend Matt. Texas killed him. You sit down at any restaurant, you go to an Italian restaurant, and what do
Yeah.
they do? As soon as you sit down, they put a bowl of queso in front of you.
Yeah.
I don't care what
Yep.
it is.
Queso.
Yeah,
yes.
just a giant bowl of cheese.
Yeah. Or bread.
Mhm.
You know, bread and butter.
They do not mess around here.
It's a mighty fine IPA they got on tap here.
Yeah, Jesus, God. I've been doing the majority of the talking, but that pint went down in about 2 seconds.
I throw them down, man.
Attaboy.
Texas.
Texas. Texas living.
Can't be no pussy in
Texas.
Texas, boy.
Steers and queers here in
Yeah,
Texas.
you know.
And I ain't
One or
seen
the
no
other.
queers.
One or the other.
Oh, so let me talk about this. I got some,
Yeah.
because I know you don't have anything prepared. I might as well carry the conversation.
Go ahead.
Um,
That's the whole idea.
I just got booked by my agent to do a tour for the U.S. Navy over in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, I just found this out. This is how crazy comedy is. So I was kind of bummed because I didn't have anything booked from like the 21st of September to October 7th.
Yeah.
I would have filled stuff in, but we're getting kind of close to the. I could have filled it in with a ton of shows in Manhattan, which is
so
fine.
this is with the USO?
Yeah, so I didn't have much road work, and I like working on the road. I like seeing new audiences as much as I love performing in New York. I wanted to start doing some more road work
No
for
doubt.
this 3-week period, basically, that was flat in my schedule.
Yeah.
And my agent calls me out of the blue and goes, what do you got going the 21st to October 8th? He goes, I only see one thing on your schedule besides New York shows, and you can get out of New York shows easily. You can get other comics to fill in for you. And I go, I got nothing going on. He goes, how about doing a tour for the U.S. Navy in Spain, Italy, Germany, like all over the place? And he goes, you got to get me all your passport information and everything within like the next 3 hours because
Yeah.
we're trying to get you filled in on this. And I was like, hell yeah, man, this sounds amazing.
No doubt.
As I mentioned earlier, I did a movie that was strictly, a war film, and we raised money for the troops. And my grandfather was a colonel in the Army, and my mom's father actually served for the U.S. Navy, and he was killed in action. So I've always wanted to do stuff for the troops and go over there and kind of try to raise the morale.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited.
That's
Super
awesome.
excited. So I think we're doing a couple. I can't tell you everything. I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. I think we're doing a bunch of shows on some ships.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in an island, or a little. We're gonna be in just off the coast of Sicily called Catania, I want to say, or I think it's Catania. I'm not positive. I just looked at the itinerary today. Then we go to Naples, then we go to Frankfurt, and we do a bunch of bases all over Germany, and then we fly into Madrid, and we maybe hopefully we'll get in like a Humvee, and we go around and we do a couple bases over there and a couple of ships.
That's
So
awesome.
It's really cool. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be September 21st to October 8th. And all your listeners can follow me. I'll be tweeting it and Instagramming it. My Twitter is Ben Hague Comedy. My Instagram is just Ben Hague. My Snapchat is Ben Hague. And then I'll do a blog or something, a video blog or something, and put it on benhague.com.
So you're moving around.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Follow me on Facebook too, which is facebook.com/thebenhague. Like my fan page, my schedule's on there and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. I've performed in Europe before. I've performed in Scotland. I performed in London. But this is awesome, and it's gonna be for
It's definitely
just
a
in
job-
front
a
of the
job perk,
troops.
Yeah. Getting to see all these different
Oh, this
places
is wonderful, man. And we have like a guide bringing us around from base to base and to all the different ships, and And we'll have a few days to mill around in Oktoberfest out there in Germany, which my agent made sure he told me. He goes, I know it's last minute. If you don't want to go, he goes, it's Oktoberfest. And I never wavered once. I was like, I want to do this. Yes, 100% I would do this.
Yeah.
It's an extra perk that it happens to be during Oktoberfest. But
So when you first decided, like, comedy,
they're setting up the bar. If you can hear that in the
I can-
background,
man,
it's almost 1 o'clock. They're getting the bar ready.
bottles clinking,
Bottles
all of it.
clanking. People ordering mixed drinks.
So when you first started comedy, you were what, 20?
21.
21.
I just turned 21.
So you weren't
It's funny
worried
though.
about whether or not your
I'd
parents were really supportive, or at that point. Or?
when I first started. Well, they were supportive of me going to acting school.
Yeah.
My parents have always been great. I put on Facebook recently a stupid post that was like mushy, where I don't know how you can succeed in this business if you don't have a family that's super supportive, or a girlfriend or a wife that's supportive, or husband, or whatever it is, or friends.
Right.
I mean, since I started, it didn't really take anybody by surprise, because like I said, I was kind of the class clown. So when I said, I'm going to do stand-up, it didn't really shock people. But to have so many people in my corner and supportive and come to the shows and see how I'm doing and support me in whatever way possible, I don't know how the hell I would have got into it, because this business beats the shit out of you, man.
No doubt.
There are so many ups and downs. You go through so many highs and so many lows, and so many times you're alone and you're depressed, and so many times where you get off stage and girls are willing to touch your penis in a bathroom because you were funny, or people are buying your CDs and your shirts, and then you literally, after you go from this rock star to now you're driving from Kansas City to Des Moines in the dark alone.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of highs and lows, but I mean, my mom's my biggest fan. My dad has always been super, super, super supportive. It took a little bit. It took some signs of success, where I got on TV or where I started doing radio and getting paid for radio.
Yeah.
Before my dad finally stopped saying, maybe you should take some night classes and finish your degree and stuff like that. Always being supportive, but always before he'd hang up, he'd be like, make sure maybe look into some night classes. All right, I gotta go. And then I got on TV and he realized once I started making a living doing it, he's like, all right, he's good. He's seen me do great. So my mom's gonna be supportive no matter what, but she's one of my biggest fans. So
Yeah. So you both did like.
it helps though, man. I have friends that do stand up that their parents are like, or they just have no support of it, or their wives or their girlfriends or husbands or boyfriends are just upset with every time they go on the road to earn a living, and it's like, fuck, this is tough enough without the people you love.
No doubt.
Kicking you down when you're down.
It's always hard in the beginning, whether it's like you're a musician or a comic or you want to be on TV or something. Like, people don't.
Yeah, nobody starts off famous.
Right.
Seinfeld was and I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, so I followed his career, and I mean, he started when he was 21 years old. He got his TV show when he was 38.
Yep.
That's 17 years of grinding his ass off, and he was known to be one of the hardest workers. Now, granted, for 10 years prior to getting his TV show, he'd done Letterman, he'd done Johnny Carson, he was selling out theaters, so he had a name, but he didn't get that huge. I mean, look at Louis C.K.
Yeah, no doubt.
Louis C.K. is the biggest guy on the planet right now. He's been
huge.
He's been killing it probably financially for a while because he's touring and he's been a big name comedy. But he didn't really blow up and become a household name to where our parents know who he is or college kids know who he is until a few years ago, where he's got his TV shows and he's had success with the specials and stuff.
Yeah.
Comedy, more than music, we follow a similar path to music.
Right.
Where when you start off, you suck. You're doing open mics just like a band. You're trying to find your voice. You're trying to find your rhythm. You're trying to find how to play the fucking guitar.
Right.
And how to, maybe you need voice lessons and how to write a joke and how to do this. And then you start to get better. And maybe instead of doing open mics, now maybe you're doing booked shows at VFWs. Or your buddy owns a bar and he's going to let you tell jokes or play music on a Friday night. And then somebody sees you and you can open for somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't care. There's no such thing as a one-hit wonder in comedy where you can have a song go on the radio and now you're on tour. It doesn't happen like that.
Right. Yeah.
We follow a similar path to musicians, but in terms of that instant success, that instant blowing up and you're famous, It doesn't happen like that. You put in time. Some is faster than others. You know, like a guy like Aziz Ansari was only doing stand-up 6-7 years before he really blew up and became a TV movie star. That could happen, but I guarantee you, man, that dude put in the work for those 6 or 7 years.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
it
sure.
started with open mics. There's no other way to start it.
Yeah.
You start at shitty open mics with 4 people.
Right.
There's no other way to start stand-up comedy.
No doubt.
And you do that for a year or 2 years, and then hopefully you get better, and it progresses.
Can't give up.
There's
can't
no
slow down.
fast way in comedy.
Right.
So I've been doing stand-up 12 years. I've been on the Late Late Show on CBS. I'm on Sirius XM Radio. I hosted a TV show for a year in Rhode Island. So I've done things that motivate me to keep going and kind of keep my parents happy. And when I say that, like, you know how parents are, they worry about you. So
Right.
these credits have given my parents
Comfortability.
where they're like, oh, all right, like, he's okay, I don't have to worry about him. Like, you know,
Right.
I'm figuring it out. But I am no means at the level where I want to get, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I have friends that started at the same time with me that
Yeah.
I am way ahead of, and I have friends that started a little after me that I'm way behind. You know,
Gotcha.
whether they're getting on MTV shows or getting development deals or this or that. So
Right.
it's just, it motivates you to work harder.
Yeah, no
You know,
doubt.
it motivates you to kind of work your ass off. And this is a business where talent can only take you so far. You gotta really work hard. I'm not at the point yet where I'm offering hand jobs to producers, so we're good. So that's good. I'm making enough money, Mom and Dad, if you're listening, where I don't need to give hand jobs behind a movie theater to try to get on TV.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it's ups and downs like anything.
Yeah.
I've had moments of success where plug makes me keep going, and then I've had shows like last night, San Antonio, where I want to quit the business, but at the same time it makes me want to work harder, because if you're a big enough name, then more than 12 people would have showed up for the late show, you know?
Show up, people.
Show up, man. I'm funny, I promise.
All right, so you're on Sirius now. Let's talk about that show. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's I'm very fortunate to be really good friends with Rich Voss, who's done absolutely everything in the business. He got pretty nationally recognized when he was on Last Comic Standing, the very first season.
Yeah.
He's married to Bonnie McFarlane, who's another amazing comedian, amazing writer. She's got a book out right now. Love the both of them. Rich has done everything in the business. He's been in it 30 years. Their movie, Women Aren't Funny.
Women Aren't Funny.
Women Aren't Funny was an awesome documentary about the, you know, how women in comedy get kind of pigeonholed as being not funny. And,
Right.
And it was directed by Bonnie, and the two of them produced it. And I mean, the people they had in that movie, you know, Chris Rock was in the film.
Yeah,
and Colin Quinn and Patrice O'Neill and Dane Cook, like everybody, Jeff Rock, like all these guys, Wanda Sykes. And just an amazing movie. And Bonnie's got a book out right now that's doing well. And me and Rich just hit it off. We play golf a lot together. We've become good buddies. So they have me on the show. My wife hates me. I'm third mic whenever I'm in town.
Yeah.
We record right in the Opie the old Opie and Anthony studio. Now it's Opie and Jimmy Norton.
Nice.
We record right in their studio. So it's right in the middle of Midtown, which is great, in the Howard Stern building on Sirius XM. And that's Tuesdays, 7 to 9 East Coast time.
Okay.
It's live on Tuesdays, 7 to 9 East Coast time. It's Sirius 206 and XM 103,
Nice.
I believe, whatever the Opie radio station is.
Okay.
So that's great. So me and Rich are actually working together in Providence, Rhode Island, November, right the Friday and Saturday right after Thanksgiving. Me and Rich are doing the Comedy Connection in Providence.
Awesome.
And then I'll be in Buffalo in December, the 17th. 2 shows the 17th at Rob's Comedy Palace. And then catch me down in Florida for New Year's. If there's any listeners in the Fort Myers area, I'll be doing 5 shows from December 29th to the 31st at the Laugh-In Comedy Cafe for New Year's.
Yeah.
And then I'm in Pennsylvania at Wisecrackers, which is a great little... man, I'm everywhere, actually. Wisecrackers in Pennsylvania in January. In January, I'm also opening for D.L. Hughley in Rhode Island. And then I'm doing Wisconsin and Minnesota in January as well.
Busy
All
man.
my stuff's at benhague.com, my whole schedule there.
Awesome.
So pretty exciting stuff coming up. A lot of traveling. Might be moving to California, but I'll be going back and forth
Yeah.
doing the bi-coastal thing. So who knows?
Man.
Who knows?
Nice. And then the Access.
Oh yeah, and I will be on television if you want to catch me. Access TV. It's Mark Cuban's network, actually.
Right.
Good old Texas boy.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban's network. Access TV. AXS. Access TV. They have a show called Live at Gotham. And I'm not sure the exact airing date, but I'll give it to you so you can pass it along to your listeners. It'll 100%. I'll make an announcement on my website.
No doubt.
On benhague.com. Hague, by the way, is Hague.
Yeah, I was getting that backwards.
Yeah.
I was doing
H-A-U-G?
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
people do that for some reason. Yeah,
exactly.
Or they'll look at it, H-A-G-U-E, and they'll go, how do you pronounce that? I'm like, it's spelled like, Hague, rhymes with plague, rhymes with vague. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta break it down for them.
So
Well,
that's
hey,
that.
it's been
Thanks,
great.
buddy. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Jethro, my man, my only white Jethro friend. I appreciate you having me on the show, buddy.
No doubt, man.
So
I
hopefully the
appreciate you
fans
doing
can go on the website and check me out.
it. Will do. All right, brother.
All right, brother.
Have a great one.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Do you have something to market or promote? Smith Print is a local, family-owned and operated printing press in the downtown San Antonio area. You can reach them at 210-876-1555 or smithprint.net. Let's make it happen with Smith Print.
Today's music pick is Born in San Antone by Garrett T Capps. The album, Los Lonely Hipsters, is available on iTunes. This guy comes straight out of San Antonio and gives country a little bit of his own flavor. Check him out. I think you're going to dig this.
I guess that's why I'm a pink jet gringo. I was born in San Antone. When I was younger, thought I was oh so very bold. Everyone told me to never leave home. I said I'm sorry, but I've got to go. I was born in San Antone. Went south to Boys Town, caught the donkey show. San Marcos, Midland, and Arlington. And things got real weird out in Houston. Guess it's 'cause I'm from San Antone. Out in Denver, man, they get too stoned. Women in Portland are just skin and bone. LA, Nashville, New York, no. When you were born in San Antone. Made it to Europe by way of a boat. Stranded in Dublin without no coat. Somebody asked me, where you coming from, bloke? I've come from San Antone. Sped right through Paris, Prague, and Rome. Drank red wine till the blood rattled my bones. Lost my direction 10 times alone. Too far from San Antone. Found myself down a deep dark road, empty pockets, and a westbound soul. Then I heard something on the radio. Sounded kinda like San Antone. It had deep blues roots and a Vox organ, a groovy shaker and Tex-Mex tone. It sang, she's about a mover, and I was gone back home to San Antone.